What if I told you? One of the most dangerous security breaches in history was discovered. Because of 75 cents. Not a bomb. Not a missile. Not a war. Just 75 cents. This is not a hacking movie. This is not fiction. This is not exaggeration. This actually happened, and almost no one knows about it. The story begins in the early 1980s. The Cold War. A world divided into two sides. Two ideologies. Two powers. The United States and the Soviet bloc. Nuclear weapons were ready. Missiles were armed. Trust did not exist. Governments believed the greatest threats would come from soldiers, spies, or bombs. They were wrong. The real threat came through a computer screen. At the time, computers were not everywhere. There was no internet as we know it. No Wi-Fi. No smartphones. Computers were rare, expensive, and trusted. Military systems, university labs, government research centers, all connected through early networks, and everyone believed those systems were secure. Until one ordinary man noticed something strange. He was not a soldier, not an agent, not a government official. He was a system administrator. His job was boring, quiet, invisible, maintain computers, fix errors, balance accounts. One night, while reviewing system logs, he saw something that made no sense. A tiny accounting error. 75 cents. Not missing data, not stolen files, just 75 cents. Most people would ignore it. He didn't. Because computers don't make mistakes like that. Money doesn't vanish for no reason. So he started watching. Late nights. Empty rooms. Only the hum of machines. He monitored system usage, login times, connections, and then he saw it. Someone was inside the system. Not during the day. Not during work hours. Late at night. Slowly. Quietly. They weren't crashing systems. They weren't deleting files. They were reading, observing, learning. At first, it didn't look dangerous, but then he checked what they were accessing. Military research, nuclear simulations, weapon design data, information that should never leave the building. And yet, someone was walking through it like a library. No alarms went off, no security warnings. The system didn't think anything was wrong, because the intruder was patient, careful, intelligent. The administrator reported it. No one listened. Supervisors said it was probably a glitch, a system error. He insisted. They dismissed him. So he did something risky, something unofficial. He decided to track the intruder himself. No permission, no budget, no backup, just curiosity and responsibility. He set traps, fake files, decoy accounts, hidden logs. Night after night, he waited. And the intruder returned, again, and again, and again. Each time going deeper, each time accessing more sensitive systems. Then it happened. The intruder jumped networks, from university systems to military systems, from research labs to defense contractors, from harmless curiosity to national security crisis. Still, no one reacted, because the breach didn't look violent. There was no explosion, no damage, just silent access. But that made it worse, because it meant someone was mapping America's digital defenses, learning how systems talked, learning what could be taken, learning what could be destroyed. The administrator reached out to federal authorities. The response was slow, confused, uncoordinated. This was a new kind of threat. No one knew who was responsible or where they were. He continued tracking, using phone lines, network traces, time stamps. The trail led outside the country, across the Atlantic, into Europe, into territory aligned with America's enemy, Cold War enemy. Now the stakes were clear. This wasn't curiosity, this was espionage. Digital espionage before the world knew what that meant. The intruder wasn't stealing money. They were stealing knowledge, nuclear research, military readiness data, satellite information, everything needed to understand how a war could be won or prevented. The administrator worked for months, almost alone. No recognition, no promotion, just pressure. If he was wrong, he'd be blamed. If he was right, he'd be ignored. Then one night, everything stopped. The intruder vanished. No more logins. No more activity. No trace. The silence was terrifying, because it meant the mission was complete. Whoever it was had taken everything they needed, only later did governments quietly confirm it. This was one of the first documented cyber-espionage operations in history. And it had gone undetected for years. The public never heard about it. No headlines. No emergency announcements. Because admitting the truth would reveal something dangerous. That the most powerful systems on Earth could be accessed from a bedroom on another continent. Decades passed. Technology advanced. The internet exploded. Cyberwar became real. Only then did parts of the story emerge. Declassified documents, interviews, books. And finally, the truth came out. The intruder was a lone hacker working for foreign intelligence, selling stolen data to Cold War adversaries. Not a genius criminal mastermind. Not a movie villain. Just a patient mind exploiting human trust in machines. And the administrator, the man who noticed 75 cents missing, the man who protected critical systems when no one else cared, he received no medal, no public apology, no recognition at the time it mattered. Only years later did history quietly correct itself. His name was Clifford Stoll. And the hacker he tracked changed how nations view digital warfare forever. This story matters today more than ever. Because now, our lives run on systems. Banking, power grids, hospitals, defense. We trust automation. We trust algorithms. But this story proves something unsettling. The most dangerous threats do not always arrive with violence. Sometimes they arrive quietly, measured in cents. And sometimes the people who save the world are not heroes on screens. They are invisible, ignored, and nearly forgotten. History didn't change that night because of power. It changed because one human paid attention. And that may be the most important lesson of all.